guys, I'm Annie,
I'm Flavia.
and we are here today to answer some questions from our April special for our patrons. It was an Easter special, so we're gonna have Yeshua and Joseph answering those questions, Jesus. And this time I'm going to trans channel instead of trans channel. Maybe I'm not pronouncing it any differently. Yeah, so I'm going to be listening to what he says and I'm gonna say it to you instead of being in trance and hypnosis, okay? And you want to?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a little sick today, so I'm sounding weird, and I may have to uh, cough
Oh yeah.
sometimes. But yeah, let's see how it goes.
Let's see. So
Yeah.
we're gonna answer some of the questions from the patrons. If you want to be a part of our patron community and ask questions for the next month, every month we're gonna do one of those, like a Q&A with Yeshua or whoever wants to come forward. This month was Yeshua. And if you want to do that, you can join us on patreon.com/lightworkers613. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go. Let's see
get
the.
started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see just if he has anything he wants to say. He's just saying thank you. Thank you for submitting the questions. Thank you for being interested and thank you for being part of my journey as I am a part of yours.
Yeah. Okay, so the first question we've got is from Janet. She asked, "Can you please describe us how you and Mary Magdalene actually look like?"
He's saying that people used to paint and draw, or however they express him, with the wrong nose. He did not have a perfect nose. He was Jewish. He says he had brownish skin, brownish goldenish hair. His eyes were lighter than people from that time, and that is why so many people portray him with light eyes, like blue eyes or green eyes, because he had hazel golden eyes, and people will often perceive his eyes as being light because of that. And some people could see his aura. Some people could see God behind his eyes, and that is why we perceive it like that. And he says that Mary Magdalene was the most beautiful being to ever walk Mother Earth. He's so in love with her, so sweet. He's saying that she's showing me her, brownish and a little bit of red on her hair, like longer than mine, like very long and wavy and full hair. He's saying that her hair was a beautiful expression of her feminine, of her divine feminine, and she has beautiful eyes and like a round face and a round mouth, and she's beautiful. He's showing me that her skin is glowing. It's like he could see her glow, and he could see God through her all the way. That's what I'm seeing now.
Yeah. Can you please tell us about your journey to Great Britain, if you have been there, and have you been to Scotland?
He's saying yes. It's another question from Janet.
Yeah.
I hope they can hear you.
I hope they can hear me.
Yeah, Great Britain and Scotland. He says yes and yes. He's showing me Druids. He spent some time there. He says that he went there first when he was around 10 or 11 years old. He spent around a year there, a year or two, with Joseph of Arimathea. And he's saying that some of those legends that Joseph was there is true, and he was with him, and John the Baptist was with him, and his mother, Mother Mary, two of the maids that were also in the Essene community they were there on this trip when he was a child, and he went to study with some healing masters from the Druids that lived there. And then he came back after the resurrection and after all the demonstration around 133 years after he resurrected. He lived many years, he's saying, as we perceive time. He's explaining. As we perceive time, he lived around 600 years, 640 something years, is what I'm seeing. So around 133 years after the resurrection, they went to Great Britain and to Scotland, and many of us meet him there too. And he's saying that your connection to Great Britain and Scotland, Janet, is one of teaching. You are a teacher there, but you did not meet him there when you went there the first time. That's what I'm getting now.
So that's part of the answer of the second question.
No.
The third question, actually. That is, why do I feel such a strong connection between Israel and Scotland?
He's showing me that you traveled. You were one of the disciples that helped him teach about love in those places.
Awesome. Spread the love.
Yeah.
From Corinne, when people would gather to listen to Yeshua, what was his favorite topic to talk about?
He's gonna make me cry. He's showing me like a bonfire, and he gives us these flashes all the time, like those visions all the time. And he would love to talk about his trips and his experiences abroad, but he's saying that his favorite subject was love and God and oneness. And he's saying that I would try every way around your minds to teach you and to make you remember about God within you and about your own experiences with God and how we are all one. And that is how that's what he's showing me, that it was his favorite subject. And he's saying that sometimes he wasn't very comprehensive to us, but he would like to talk about it anyways. He's saying that he loved speaking about how he found God and how we could find God within us too. And he loves to talk about his travels.
Yeah, we love to hear about those too.
Yeah, it's always fun.
Yeah. From Mary Shields, in his life as Yeshua, is there one individual human that had a huge impact on his life path aside from Mary Magdalene?
Oh, he's really gonna make me cry. He's saying that he answered that last time, that Sarit was one of them, his first daughter, because he's saying we had a very strong connection, and we are from the same soul group, so we've been incarnating again and again together, and maybe not always incarnating, like he's saying that he's my main spirit guide, and now sometimes we trade. It's not always that. I need to breathe. And that Sarit had a very strong role in his life as his daughter, his first initiated child and a best friend. He says that his mother also had a very big impact in his life because of all the reasons that we can already know, we can already think about. And she was he's saying both of his parents, but Mary was so determined and so expensive. Her mind was so expensive, and she was ready for that role her whole life. And he's so thankful for her and he loves her so much. It's making my heart beat so fast. It gets hard to speak. And he is showing me a man, like a shaman. That's what I see, like a healer, someone that really helped him understand God within him. But I can't see, because he keeps showing me India and then he shows me Peru. I think maybe it's the different incarnations of the same being. He's saying Horus, like different incarnations of someone that was highly expressing Horus, not actually Horus, someone that had the very proeminent fractal of Horus. He's someone that really helped him because Horus was one of his spirit guides. It was someone that really influenced him in his healing and all of his path. So I need some water. This is gonna make me cry, you know. Yeah. I'm wearing mascara, don't do this.
Another question from Mary. Was there some
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah. Was there some practice or experience that brought him the greatest joy or laughter?
Practice or experience?
Yes.
He's showing me the bonfire again. He's saying every time that he spent with family, every time that not only his like blood relatives, but everyone was family for him. Everyone was one with him. And he's showing me that he loved just spending time and listening to others too. And now he's showing me Mary Magdalene singing, and he was that it was one of his favorite things to do, just to hear her, listen to her singing. Yeah, I guess that's it.
Awesome. The first question from Julie is, have you ever played the role of the persecutor?
Yeah, he says yes. I've played every role you could ever imagine, just like you, just like everyone else. We are expansive beings and we like to experience and we like to expand and we like to see everything from every perspective. Of course I've been the persecutor. Of course I've been the victimized. It's always a very what we might perceive as a very long path until one can accept God once you forget about it. So yeah, he's saying that he played many roles and he's showing me like emperors or things like that, and he shows me that he's been a soldier too. And I'm seeing, I think it's Atlantis. He had more than one lifetime in Atlantis. And in one of them, he would research on natives' DNAs. And they would, behind the scenes, they would kidnap some beings, yeah, and experiment on them because they wanted to make the DNA stronger and all of that, and share all the knowledge that they felt they had and whatever. So it wasn't, he says that it wasn't very nice of him to do that. So yeah.
Second question, was the betrayal of Judas what set the events into motion that culminated in the crucifixion?
He says that it was part of the whole. The crucifixion was a role that he decided to play, and he knew that was coming even before incarnation. And there were many beings that were connected to that event itself. Judas was just one of them. He wasn't the reason why. He was just someone that helped him get to the place where he wanted to be. It was his agreement with Judas that they would play their role for each other. Because in truth, Judas did not hate him or anything. He was one of his followers and he really loved him. And in his belief, Judas believed that if he forced Jesus' hand, he would show himself as being the Son of God and all of that. Judas really believed in all those prophecies and that he would bring heaven into earth and he would meet his family again and all that. So he thought that by betraying him, by giving him in, Jesus would stop that he wouldn't be put on the cross. He's God. He's not gonna. He had just seen him resurrect Lazarus. It's like he's never gonna let that happen. That's the feeling that I'm getting from Yeshua about that. So he was one of the people that made it all possible, but he wasn't like the starting point or anything. It was something that he was literally trained for his whole life. So I hope that answers. I don't even know. Sometimes I disassociate, and I don't know if I'm answering the question or not, or is it?
Yeah.
Is the answer? Yeah.
Will you talk about the Garden of Gethsemane?
Gethsemane? I don't know.
Gethsemane? What was your experience there before the crucifixion?
I don't know how to pronounce that.
I don't know what
I
garden
know
is that.
it's the one next to the Mount of Olives, the Monte das Oliveiras. Never mind. Because he's showing me the garden. He says that he used to go there to meditate and to pray and to connect with God. And the night before he was captured by the Romans, he was there with some of his family and friends and some of his what we call disciples. But it was a place of communion that we would go to communicate with God and with Mother Nature and to ground and connect not only with the whole but with Earth too. That's what he's saying. Does he answer?
Yes. The last question from Julie. Did you have 12 apostles and were one of them female?
He's showing me a line of people. And he's saying, I had many of what you call apostles. Many of them were women. He's showing me like a 30-something at least working with him. People that used to follow him and learned from him. He's saying that he awoke that divinity in them so they could understand that they were God and they could teach others and they could activate others. So many of them went on those travels and those trips to other places to speak about God and to speak about love. So they would go in pairs, at least a man and a woman. He's saying that mostly women were the easiest to wake up and to work with and to awake that divinity within them because they were more receptive. Because it was a hard time for people in general to understand that, and they were very different from. That's why he's showing me, like they were very different from what you would expect from people from that time. For example, he treated his wife, Mary Magdalene, as an equal, and that alone was weird for many people. So they would always travel at least in pairs, so they wouldn't be alone if they come across anything that was dangerous. So he had many apostles, he's saying, and many of them were women. Mary Magdalene had a lot of apostles too, if we call them apostles. A lot of initiates.
That's my question. Why those 12 only are the most famous ones?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
He's saying it's just the ones that were close at those times that the scriptures were being scribed. When they were writing about, not writing, because he's saying that the Bible, as we know, was written for, it was written like 60 years after the crucifixion. You know, so those are just remembrances of people that were there, that spoke about it to their grandchildren, that spoke about, you know, so
Yeah.
those people that were close to him on those times. And he's also saying that some of them were more, he's saying like outgoing and talkative. So they would talk more to people. They would, you know, some of them were quieter and all that. But he's saying that originally in scriptures there was women. It was after Constantine added and all of that they took them off, and even before that. I forgot the name of the guy. I can't remember the name. Ariu.
Yes.
You know, when he was starting to teach those things and all that, he would speak about women. So in some sides of Christianity, let's say, some vertents, some of them are known as being disciples to some women.
Okay.
He digresses, right?
Yeah.
He makes me digress, and I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore.
It's just basically they say 12 because Constantine wanted. So those are the ones who were speaking something he agreed with.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Let's keep those 12. Okay.
Yeah, because for example, like there are other gospels that we don't consider in the Bible, like the Gospel of Philip and Mary Magdalene. So they were all apostles too, but they are not considered one of them. So
Okay.
it's human.
From Eva, how would Yeshua like us to celebrate Easter?
He's showing me chocolate and he's going like, eat chocolate if you want to eat chocolate. He says that he has fun with us when we are having fun, and you should celebrate in a way that is fun for you, to commune with God within you, and to understand that it is a beautiful representation of your own rebirth every year, what we consider time. He keeps moving all around it and he's distracting me. I'm gonna ask him to
He likes to
sit
walk
down.
when he's talking.
Yeah. He goes like with his hands on his back and he's walking and
like an old man.
Yeah. And now he's coming too close and he's gonna make us cry. He goes like, "Well, I can't stand close to you because you asked me to move because you're gonna cry and I can't walk." I don't even know what I was.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah. So he's saying that it is a beautiful representation of God being born within us. So however you want to celebrate it, if you want to burn a candle and meditate, if you want to eat chocolate and have fun with that, however you want to celebrate is how he would like you to celebrate, whatever is loving for you.
Sorry.
It's okay.
From his point of view, what is the meaning of Easter in human collective? I mean, what was the real purpose of his crucifixion and quickening for the human collective? From Eva.
He's saying it was a demonstration so we could understand that we are not the body, and that we could be expensive, and that not only the crucifixion, he says that the crucifixion got a lot of press because it was a very dramatic event, but everything was supposed to be something to remember, not only from him but from his apostles, from his disciples, from his wife, from his mother, and the whole thing surrounding that era actually. So all of the healing that he performed, he's saying, I never healed anyone. They were ready to receive God, and I was just showing them. I was just a mirror for them. So the quickening was the same. It was supposed to be a mirror for you to understand that God lives in you, and no one could ever kill your body unless you say yes. And he's smiling and going like, I said it. That's what I mean. You are the one to say yes or no for your experience here on earth, because you are not this body. Your spirit is not within your body. Your body is within all. It is not separated from you. So his representation of it was just supposed to be a mirror for us. So that is what he meant by it. And the distortion caused by the collective was yet another powerful move to hide the truth from us, so we could go within instead of having the answers given to us. So we could ask ourselves, so we could empower ourselves enough to choose what is the loving thing for you, what is the loving thing for me. So that is why we choose power over and power under in any circumstances. That's what he's saying. So whatever the collective did with that representation of that demonstration, it was only so we could remember God within. That is the whole purpose of anything we do here. Yeah.
Okay. From Nikki, she says, I would like some specifics on walking our path while remaining part of society in this day and age. Oftentimes, some teachings require such stringent practices that it's too hard to maintain without stress of isolation out of obligation, not just because it's desired. Also, doing this with teenagers in this modern day, I realize we are to remain in our heart's truth and know always love ultimately. Thank you.
He's saying what you choose to abide with is entirely of your choice. He's saying this sounds redundant, but this is very important. Whatever you choose to abide with is what you will experience. So choosing to do whatever feels loving for you at the moment is your answer. You don't need to go through any practices that don't feel loving for you. If it feels restricted, or if it feels stringent, it is not right for you. Those spiritual practices are supposed to be freeing instead of adding more weight to your shoulders. So choose whatever is loving for you at the present moment. That's what he's saying. So he says that he had teenagers too, and sometimes they are hard to deal with. And showing them love is very important. So whenever you are doing something that is loving for you, you show them love, and that is how they will reciprocate. Sooner or later, they will see that. And he's also saying that children are more of a teacher than the parents are. They are here to teach you. So maybe that's exactly what those teenagers are showing you now. How can you balance that? How can you choose to do the loving thing for you, even if it feels like it is impossible sometimes? So maybe spiritual practices. He makes it hard to speak sometimes. Spiritual practices don't need to be meditation. It doesn't need to be sitting down quiet. Every single thing you do, every single step you take, everything you say is spiritual. You are practicing spirituality because you are a spiritual being, a multidimensional spiritual being, divine. So by being present and mindful of every single second of your life, that is how you will find pleasure in every single second of your life. That's what he's saying. So maybe choosing to drink some water and sit quiet in a room sometimes. That is your spiritual practice. You don't need to do yoga. You don't need to, those are things that help a lot and will help you grow and all that. But they are not required. Whatever is loving for you is the right thing, it says. Bless you.
I was concentrating a lot.
not to
Yeah.
while I'm speaking. Okay.
Okay, thank you. From Anya, what was his favorite daily practice?
He's saying singing. He was a very good singer.
Where did his travels take him during his life?
He's saying first he showed me he was like what life. He says I'm still alive and I'm everywhere. He says in my lifetime as Yeshua, I was born in Israel. He traveled to Egypt, then he went to Great Britain, Scotland. He came back, then he went to Tibet, India, France, all over Europe. He's showing me Great Britain again and the Americas. He had a strong connection in Peru. He went everywhere, basically all over the globe.
Are the stories of the Glastonbury thorn and the legends that surrounds Joseph of Arimathea in relation to his tweet based on some truth?
Yeah, he says yes. He says he answered that before you asked. I don't know where, but he says that yes, he went to Glastonbury with Joseph of Arimathea. Joseph did not come back there, but he did not come back there in body, he says. He has left the body already, released the body as he says, and he was there when Yeshua was in Glastonbury around 133 years after the crucifixion in spirit. And he's saying that the thorn, he is showing me like I forgot the name, like a cane, like a huge stick people carry around. I forgot the name, I'm sorry. Like a wooden stick that people use to walk. I know they will understand.
I don't even
That's
know
what
in
I'm
Portuguese.
saying. I forgot the name. He's showing me that because the legends are surround that, and he says it has more to do with Mother Mary than with Joseph. Mother Mary prayed in those gardens and the flowers would not die. That's what he's saying. I don't know anything about it, but I guess I will look it up after that. So, but it was in that trip he took with Mother Mary and Joseph and John the Baptist and his mother. I think it was Elizabeth or Isabel, something like that, her name. That's what I'm hearing. And they were praying that. They were having like a sacred ritual of women, the Magdalenas. And yeah, he says that that's more about her than about Joseph. No idea. I'll have to look it up later.
That's some cool place to visit.
Absolutely,
like the
it's
flowers.
Absolutely on my list.
Must be beautiful.
Yeah.
Is there any practice which you recommend following every day?
He says clearing the mind and allowing God. Every single time you clear the mind and you allow ego to step away and you take God within to the center of the stage, you are seeing how expansive you are. You are seeing how powerful you are. You are seeing how godly you are. So this is the best thing. However you want to do that. if you want to meditate, if you want to do yoga, if you want to take a walk, if you want to ground, if you want whatever you want to do, this is the daily practice that he says that is the best for everyone. It's just finding some quietness of the mind, because when the mind is quiet, and he's showing me the heart expands, and you allow God to be expressing through you in your awareness, because God is always expressing through you. So you become part of your awareness to allow God to show you the way.
Yeah. Inner peace.
Yeah.
Can you describe your daily routines if you had any?
He's saying that for a long time he did have like a routine. He's showing me India and the time he spent there with the monks and all that in Tibet too. Every time he shows me India and Tibet, it feels like it's the same place. I don't know. Maybe the border, the place where he was with the border. Because he always says India and Tibet. I never asked him why. He's saying, yeah, the border. He's just asking, you get the answer. He says that he had many daily practices where he would sit down and meditate. He's showing me that he would sit down in the dark and meditate a lot so he could open his inner vision. He says this is a good one for you to do if you want to open your inner vision. Sit down in the dark and allow your light to become the light of the room. So you will see things and believe whatever your heart is showing you. He's showing me that he is walking in nature too, in France when he was there. So that's how I recognize it. It's something that he did a lot too. Spending time alone in nature and allowing the voice of God to talk through him. So he's saying that he would, people would think that he was crazy a lot because he would speak alone. People wouldn't know who he was talking with. And he would be on the woods, like just talking alone, but he was speaking with God within him and with everything else. He was a little bit of what you might call a freak.
It's like us talking to the trees.
Yes.
When we go out.
Yes. Hi
the
tree, I
birds.
love you. Yeah. He says that he would talk to everything as well. So it was one of the things that he really liked to do. He's saying that he loved talking to animals. And he was showing me something else and I got distracted. I'm going to ask him to show me again. Oh, food. He's saying that he will eat light foods so he wouldn't feel heavy on the body. Like emotionally and not only physically heavy. It's like, I don't want to be fat. That's not it. It was not emotionally too. It was spiritually light. So
energetically.
Yes, exactly. So it wouldn't. It would be easier to have that flow of energy. Because can you imagine being him, like having that energy in you all the time and walking around? Of course, you're gonna look crazy. There's no other way. It's like that dude is crazy. Yeah.
That's all the questions.
Oh, awesome. I'm seeing his face here now. Are you seeing his face? I see his face sometimes on the weirdest place, on the table here.
Oh my God.
Exactly like his face, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. I tell him he's kind of creepy sometimes.
Yeah.
It's on the tablecloth. Okay.
But
So-
there's nothing here. It's just, it's no...
Yeah, it's just a brown,
blank,
brown stuff, and we're both.
And then it's a face. It's like, what? Come on.
So that's the last question.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's smiling. He's saying, "Yeah, you will see me all over the place because I live in you," and he's saying that everyone that is watching too. So whenever he's showing me that picture of a sign that a girl posted on our group. And he's speaking about that. Like, whenever you feel you have a sign from me, know that it's true. It is me. I'm always trying to go through the cracks of your consciousness so I can speak with you.
Yeah,
He's saying, just allow, and I love you.
exactly. And he will know whatever you will relate with. So maybe if you
Yes.
see a leaf and you think of him, it's because it reminds
Yes.
you of something, and it is a connection. It's just
Yeah.
maybe even if other people don't think so, trust your
If
heart.
it is,
because
if it is a sign for you, it is a sign
it's
for
a
you.
sign for you.
Whatever makes you think of
Yeah.
him. So if it is the cross, if it is a J of Jesus, if it is, anything, if it is a bird,
Coin, whatever.
yeah, whatever, a feather. So,
Archangel Michael, for an example, he always shows us birds, right?
yeah,
When
Yeah,
we are
bluebirds.
outside and if we're talking,
every time we see
or white.
yeah, blue and white birds. So whatever is he's saying that he will talk to you and he will show himself to you in all those ways. So has been, I'm holding my amethyst all the time. This has been fun. Thank you very much for submitting your questions. This time we decided doing it like that. Maybe next time we're gonna do trance channeling. I think we're gonna do a trance channeling next time because we already did one with Elizabeth. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. It was very, very much fun. I channeled Yeshua and she channeled Mary Magdalene at the same time, and we let them speak. It was very nice. So if you want to join us for the next questions, if you want to submit your questions, join us on patreon.com/lightworkers613. And if you want to be a part of our spiritual community on Facebook, Facebook, it's the same thing. Facebook.com/groups/lightworkers613.
Yeah.
It's been fun. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And talk to you guys soon. Bye. Namaste.